Is Aladdin Chinese? Is Jasmine 15 years old? Does the genie really pull Quran verses out of Aladdin's ear and wipes his bottom with it? Prince Ali might is he in Alabok. These are real claims, but which are fantasy and which are reality? After my videos on Disney's Aladdin, I got flooded with comments. So now I'm digging into the biggest controversies and finding out what's real and what's complete nonsense. Is it true or is it gonna be debunked? In the Arabian Nights lyrics, Barbaric is talking about the heat, not the people. In Aladdin's opening song, Arabian Nights, the original lyric is, where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. Yeah. That's what played in theaters. In 1992, the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee protested it, and to Disney's credit, they changed it for the VHS version and every release after. Now it's where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. Sounds better until you actually think about it. Let's look at what they didn't change. They swapped the first line, but kept "it's barbaric" exactly the same. That's not a thoughtful rewrite, people. It's a patch job. Originally, barbaric clearly referred to people cutting off ears. Now suddenly it's about the weather. That's reason number one. Context carryover. The meaning doesn't magically reset just because one line has changed. Reason two. The word itself. Barbaric isn't how people describe weather. It's how they describe behavior, usually of other people. No one walks outside into 45-degree heat and goes, "Wow, barbaric day today." They would say something like brutal, disgusting. They wouldn't use the word barbaric. That word has cultural baggage. Reason number three, redundancy. The lyric already says the heat is intense. So what? Now it's intense and also barbaric? Why repeat a description of the heat? It's nonsensical and reeks of quick rewrite. Reason four, Disney knew it was bad and fixed it again. In the 2019 live-action remake of Aladdin, which I'm making a video about soon, so stay tuned, they don't double down on the weather excuse. They rewrite the entire phrase. Where you wander among every culture and tongue, it's chaotic, but hey, it's home. Notice the change? Barbaric turns into chaotic. And more importantly, they explicitly talk about culture. This is evidence that shows you Disney knew that the rewrite was talking about the culture and people. That's why they kept this new rewrite as talking about the culture and people. So even Disney knew what the line was really doing. If you think Barbaric was talking about the weather, you're basically saying you think Disney is wrong and you know more than they do. Big claim if you ask me. I tried researching the original intent for keeping the word barbaric in the rewrite. The first version of the offensive, orientalist, and disgusting lyric was written by Howard Ashman back in 1988. Sadly, he passed away before the film was released, so he never saw the backlash or the revision. So we don't know who wrote this revision. Possibly Alan Menken, but there's no confirmed source. The only explanation from a Disney exec that I could find is the following. Disney distribution president Dick Cook said, "Barbaric refers to the land and the heat, and not to the people." The person claiming that barbaric is about the weather is the distribution president, not a member of the creative team at Disney. It reads less like truth and more like damage control. Let's take all these factors into consideration. You've got the original context, the definition of the word, the structure of the lyric, Disney's own rewrite, and Disney's acknowledgement of the original meaning for the new lyrics in the 2019 live-action remake. It all points to one direction. Barbaric isn't about the weather. It was about the people. And yeah, it's exactly as horrendous and orientalist as it sounds. Consider the claim Barbaric is talking about the heat debunked. Aladdin is originally Chinese. People think that the original Aladdin story is Chinese because it does say it in the story after all. I'm going to use the translation from the annotated Arabian Nights tales from 1001 Nights, which is a brand new translation that tries to be as authentic as possible by using multiple sources for translation to help create an authentic version of the story. It's an amazing book and you should get it. I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description where if you buy using that link, I get a small commission. The opening line to Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp says, "Majesty, in the capital of one of China's vast and wealthy kingdoms." It goes on to mention China many more times. Now he could realize the dream that had brought him from the edge of Africa all the way to China. Aladdin, who had no idea of their value, was not struck by the sight of these fruits and was not drawn to them as he might have been to figs or grapes or any of the other fine fruits that grow in China. I went through the whole story and counted. It says China 8 times. Case closed, right? Not so fast, Habibi. China here doesn't literally mean the country China. It's simply a placeholder for somewhere far away. Like when someone says, wow, that's as far as Timbuktu. They don't literally mean the city of Timbuktu. They just mean it's somewhere far away and fantastical. This is what Arabic scholar and novelist Robert Irwin says about it. The story is set in China, but the Chinese setting is purely notional. As in all other aspects, the story takes place in an entirely Muslim environment. The frame story of the Hunchback cycle in the Nights was similarly set in China, and in the story of Saif al-Muluk, the hero visits the Emperor of China. In such contexts, China just means a faraway land where strange things can happen. There's evidence that this is in China in the actual story too. The names of the characters are Arab in origin. Mustafa, Aladdin, Badr al-Badur. These are all Arab names. When the magician is talking to Aladdin's mother, he says, I have traveled to India, to Persia, to Arabia, to Syria, and to Egypt, and stayed in their finest cities before moving on to Maghrib, where I settled. Despite the supposed setting of the story in China, the magician is associated with the typical geography of the stories of the 1001 Nights. The story has genies in it, or jinn. Jinn are Arab folklore creatures, not Chinese. The culture in the story is that of an Arab one. There's a part of the story where Aladdin is asking a genie for silver plates so he can go sell them to merchants. Merchant culture is a rich part of Arabian tradition and storytelling. Merchants are in almost every single story in 1001 Nights. Let's look at this one part of the story. It says, until that moment, Aladdin had never seen a woman uncovered except his mother. Later in the story, Aladdin first sees the princess Badr al-Badur and instantly falls in love. Hey look, a trope Disney uses. The princess's name translated in English is Full Moon of Full Moons. My cousin has a modern version of that name, Badriya. The story says, when Aladdin saw Princess Badr al-Badur, he quickly shed his notion that all women must look more or less like his mother. Why hasn't Aladdin seen any other woman? Because in ancient Arabia, women didn't dress like how Jasmine does from the movie. Women were traditionally veiled. This is the first time Aladdin sees an unveiled woman aside from his mother. Ask yourself, did women cover themselves in ancient China to the point where a son hasn't seen any woman except for his mother? Aladdin requests his mother to go ask for the princess's hand in marriage. This is an Arab custom. The mother of the groom goes to the family of the future bride and asks for her hand in marriage for her son. It's a tradition that's still practiced today by traditional families in Kuwait, where I'm from, and in other parts of Arabia. Do some of these traditions overlap with other cultures? Of course, but all these pieces of evidence are showing us that Aladdin is an Arabian story written by a Syrian author writing from his Arabian experiences. One other big factor as to why people think Aladdin is Chinese is because of art made about the story. Many artists took China seriously, so they created really beautiful and amazing drawings, paintings and illustrations showing Aladdin as Chinese. This added a lot of fuel to the fire. Thankfully, the creators of Disney's Aladdin understood that it wasn't really Chinese. It was Arabian, and that's how we got the wonderful depiction of Arabs in the movie. Yay! So I want you to consider Aladdin as Chinese as officially debunked. The Aladdin story is from Persia/India/Turkey. To figure this one out, we need to look at the history of the Aladdin story. Who wrote it? Where is it from? How did it end up in Arabian Nights? The very first time Aladdin appears in writing is in the 1709 French translation of Arabian Nights. The translator, a man named Antoine Galland, added famous stories like Aladdin and Ali Baba to the collection of tales. This turned it from Arabian Nights into 1001 Nights. According to Galland's diary, in the single case of the story of Aladdin, Diab presented him with a manuscript of the story on May 5th, 1709. Consequently, there is no synopsis of Aladdin in Galan's diary, and the Diab manuscript has never been traced. Despite several efforts to fabricate an Arabic version of the story that predates this published version, the story's first known telling must be credited to Hana Diab, who gave the story to Galand on May 5th, 1709. Scholars such as Marina Warner suggest that the tale resembles European narratives of social ascension that feature talismans and spoken charms, while Robert Irwin stresses the story's roots in the narrative tradition of the Arab world. Could there have been oral traditions being passed around in Persia, Turkey, or India that resemble Aladdin? Sure. Stories can change. They can be passed on. Elements can be added or removed. They can be made to fit certain people's cultures. I mean, look at the Aladdin cartoon. It's a blender of Orientalist tropes made for an American audience to craft a new story. This is how stories work, but historians haven't found any official documented stories of Aladdin in those regions of the world. Most agree that it's mostly an Arab story with European traditions added in by Galand. It could very well be that Hana Diab borrowed the story from other stories from other parts of the world, but we don't have anything concrete to support that claim. All I can go by is what has been documented and what historians agree are the roots of the story. So I can firmly say Aladdin is Arabian. Jasmine is 15 years old. Many people claim Jasmine is 15 years old in the movie. This would be shocking if it were true. So let's investigate. In the movie, they never say Jasmine's age, not once. So based on the movie, no, Jasmine isn't 15 years old. But there's more to this story. A Reddit user with the following screen name has done amazing research on this. Full credit goes to them. In the book Disney's Princess Treasury, Jafar says, if a princess has not chosen a husband by her 16th birthday, then the Sultan shall choose for her. In the book Disney Junior Encyclopedia of Animated Characters, in the Aladdin trivia section, it reads, Q. Why does Jasmine need to choose a husband right away? A. She is just a few days away from her 16th birthday, at which time, by law, she must be married. On the Disney Go website back in 2003, there's a section about Jasmine that reads, the beautiful Jasmine, daughter of the Sultan, is only a few days short of her 16th birthday, the day of which, by law, she must choose a husband. All these statements in official Disney publications and on official Disney websites, I think, created a Mandela effect of people thinking the Sultan says this in the movie, but he doesn't. This is what the Sultan says.
The law says you must be married to a prince by your next birthday.
In the original Aladdin story in 1001 Nights, they don't say what the age of the princess is. My final assessment is Princess Jasmine is not 15 years old in the movie, but official materials published after the movie have made things confusing. Debunked for the movie, but Disney has made this more confusing than it needs to be. Disney stole Aladdin from The Thief and the Cobbler. Lindsay Ellis, a video essayist I've been watching since her introduction to That Guy with the Glasses group, recently uploaded a 1-hour breakdown detailing the complicated relationship between the thief and the cobbler and Aladdin. After you watch my video, go watch hers and get educated. But to oversimplify things and summarize her video, no. It wasn't copied. Some of the characters look similar, namely the main villain, but the plots of the movies are nothing alike. Aladdin didn't steal from the thief and the cobbler. Consider this debunked. Genie wipes his bottom with Quran writings. This claim was brought to my attention by commenter F5673-T1H. During the song Friend Like Me, around the 2 minutes mark, Genie pulls a piece of paper out of Aladdin's ear, then wipes his behind with it. The piece of paper has a verse from the Quran on it, either 443 or 56. Let's take a look, shall we? This first collection of letters is just gibberish Arabic. Then Genie pulls more paper out of Aladdin's ear and we get the words Kuntum Marda أو على. Kuntum marda أو على. In English, this means you are sick or on. Let's look at the first Quran verse. It's describing how a person should be clean before prayer. Those words appear here. And now the second Quran verse. It's another verse describing in more detail how you should be clean before prayer. The phrase appears here. Then the very next thing Genie does is take the piece of paper and wipe his behind with it. Yeah, wow, that's bad, because those words do appear in verses talking about being clean, but then Genie immediately does an unclean thing with the paper with those words on it. And remember, this is the Quran. It's supposed to be holy scripture, and this would be seen as something really offensive. It's hard to see this as anything other than messed up. I was thinking, oh, it could have been an animator who wrote in random letters or words that he quickly researched. But the fact that those words are from parts of the Quran describing how to be clean, it's way too coincidental. Conversely, you could see Genie wiping his bottom as trying to get clean. So an animator quickly researched an Arabic phrase that's talking about getting clean, and this was the first thing that popped up, and they threw it in there. But why even put Arabic letters on the paper at all? Why use a phrase from the Quran if they knew it was from the Quran? Maybe they didn't. And this phrase specifically appears in the middle of both verses. It's not like you research it and then you grab the first words or letters. These phrases are in the middle of the Quran verses. Is it disrespectful? Yes. Does it look disrespectful? Yes. Does it look really bad? Yes. Did they purposefully try to disrespect the Quran? Possibly. Is it a coincidence? No. It feels deliberate. It feels wrong. But those are just my thoughts. What do you think about this? I want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm calling this one true with reservations. I really want to know the rationale behind this and the full story instead of claiming it was put in there purposefully to be disrespectful to Muslims. But I mean, it looks like it.